In today's video, I want to talk about the 7 Ps of Armenia, Colombia. A couple weeks ago, I did a video on the 5 Cs, and this just further expands on the comments that I made there. My name is William Hutchison. I'm the owner of Armenia, Colombia Realty for expats in Armenia, Colombia. First, 2 caveats. Number one is I believe that people coming here now are on the leading edge of immigration to Colombia. Those of you that can retire, perhaps you've reached retirement age, perhaps you've looked at some of my videos that say 65 is guaranteed to no one, and if you can retire early, perhaps you should consider it. I don't think things are going to change much in Colombia as far as the cost of living. I think the minimum wage of around $260 or $270 US monthly puts a cap on the inflationary pressures. There's going to be inflation. There's inflation all over the world. But according to the experts that I follow, it looks like the peso will depreciate more than inflation will increase. As an example, when I arrived here, I got about 1,400 pesos to the Canadian dollar. I now get about 3,400, but I have received as much as 3,700. The peso has strengthened a little in the last 6 or 8 weeks. So I'm getting a little bit less, but I've done much better than double. And I don't think inflation here over that period of time has doubled. Second item, and I'm just going to throw it out, is safety. I think it's a red herring. I believe that Colombia, for the most part, is much safer than many other countries in the world. And I believe it's safer now than the United States. I read an article this morning in Portland where the homeless people are walking around with axes and machetes. There's none of that here. If you use a little bit of common sense, for example, you don't go downtown here any time of the day to shop with your cell phone sticking out of your pocket, a Rolex on your wrist, and a gold chain around your neck. You're just asking for trouble. You're a target. There's a lot of opportunity theft here. It's petty theft. But 43% of the people, the last number that I saw back maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, 43% of the people in Colombia do not eat 3 meals a day. And I've said to other people, you would have to have a lot of self-control if you were struggling and you were going home and your children were crying because they were hungry. I think many of us would become cell phone thieves as well, and I think that's a lot of the basic issue here. Let's get to the 7 Ps, and a couple of my comments are just going to be comments, and I'll leave them with you. The first thing here is that people are very friendly. A lot of you will come with none or very little Spanish. I came with 4 words, but the people will help you. You don't need to conjugate a verb properly. You don't need to take 3 years of Spanish lessons. I would suggest that if your plan is to come here and you have the time, that maybe you take a couple hours a week for maybe 3 months, and that will get you by. I've said before, 20 verbs and maybe 2,500 or 3,000 words, and you should be fine. Obviously, there's parts of the English language that you have that you wouldn't use here, or many wouldn't use here. For example, a lot of engineering technology. If you weren't involved in constructing a home, then those words you would never need. You need the daily words for food, perhaps some medical terms, property terms, those sorts of things, and normal everyday conversation. That would do you. The second thing in Colombia is price, and it goes to everything. I've given examples in my previous videos, and I'm not going to comment further on it here, aside from saying that many things here are a fraction of what they are right now in North America. And when I say a fraction, 20 or 25%. Some things are 10%. Some of the food items, property, very little is more than 25% of similar in the United States. So that has to be a big attraction for people coming here, especially those that might be struggling on very little social insurance. Third thing in Armenia, it's very peaceful. There's no guerrilla activity. There's no visible drug activity. And I say that never going downtown at night. I've made it a policy to just be in my apartment at 6 at night when it gets dark. And I've had no issues. And I think, again, with the use of common sense, you will find it very, very tranquil. The fourth thing is the potential of this country. It's absolutely beautiful. It's been rated number 3 by Forbes magazine in the world, behind Indonesia and New Zealand, for its beauty, its natural environment. Colombia has 1,900 different bird species, the most in the world. And an ornithologist, maybe 10 days ago, I read her article, and she thinks that there might be as many as 200 other species that haven't been recorded. So the potential for the country, the chance that your property will maintain its value, as long as you don't overpay, as long as you don't pay the gringo price, which I am here to help you with, you won't lose your investment unless something serious happens. And I mean politically, something that big would have to happen for anything negative to affect you in a serious way, and I don't think that's ever going to happen here. The country's picturesque, number 5. I can drive from here to Salento, perhaps 30 kilometers, and the vistas are unbelievable. In some areas, you can see into the distance 40 or 50 kilometers. Many areas, you've got a gently sloping hill down maybe 200 meters, down to a little river, maybe into a village, maybe into a finca. The opportunity for photography for someone who is into that is spectacular. The sixth thing, I guess, we're going to talk about precipitation. And the precipitation here, it does rain, and it rains a lot, but generally at night. There's not a lot of rain during the day. It might rain for 20 or 30 minutes and then it stops. There's days where it's cloudy. You don't see the sun, but when it is, the temperature basically stays the same. It's close to 80 here every day. Drops to 60, 61, 62 at night. 365 days a year, you can count on it. I don't remember the last time I walked out with an umbrella. I have one, and we use it periodically. I think Alba, my wife, has used it maybe in the last couple of months, but I have not used an umbrella here during the day. The climate is unbelievable. The last thing I want to talk to you about is place, and it brings me to the thumbnail, the home in the thumbnail, because 5 of these things relate to that home. It's the place. I had to use P, its location, but to be consistent, I had to use place. Price, peaceful, potential, and picturesque. This home is in the best burial in Armenia, It's close to the airport where it's warm. It's about 2,400 square feet, 4 bedroom, 5 bathroom, but it's not an overwhelming type of house. It's a bungalow. It backs onto a ravine lot. Animals are everywhere. It's beautifully landscaped, has an infinity pool. It's just a spectacular place for someone to live. And at $325 US, $325,000 US, this home in anywhere in the United States is $1.5 million to $2 million in a gated community. It's just outstanding, and it's an opportunity for someone, even someone that wants a rural lifestyle, because it's on a ravine lot backing onto a forest. You would get the rural lifestyle because the lots are large. You have nature coming to the pool, iguanas, armadillos, what they call here no-tailed beavers, all kinds of birds. You would get the benefit of that rural type of environment in a gated community. And in my opinion, no expat. There are expats here that are living on fincas rurally, and there's no issues. But in my opinion, expats should not be living outside of a gated community. That's the video for today. You can see photos of this home in the thumbnail on my website, Armenia Colombia Realty for Expats.com, as well as other listings that are there, and our blog, which reminds me I've got a couple of things to put on the blog that I need to get to. This is William Hutchison of Armenia Colombia Realty for Expats, signing off. I live in paradise. You can too.